weird things.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Better turn that down.
I have a muffin.
Yeah, you have a muffin.
Mm.
So we are back. Second movie of the day for our annual movie marathon, and it is a Stephen King adaptation, and it's called Riding the Bullet.
Riding the Bullet.
I know fuck all about this movie.
No, neither do I. It's Mick Garris.
A film by Mick Garris.
Mick Garris is quite reliable for Stephen King adaptations. It's got some good reviews, but I don't know it. In fact, I didn't genuinely think I've ever heard of this as a film until like you mentioned it this morning.
This is probably setting it up. The best of the independent films made from my work since Stand By Me. See it. You'll be glad you did. Quoted from Stephen King.
Now, we could say that's a good endorsement, but he endorses a lot of his shit films.
Does he?
Yeah, I mean, he does. He was in the new...
Toby Hooper quote. Scary Haunting, the best Stephen King movie ever by Toby Hooper.
Bloody hell.
Whoa.
Well,
right. So
we'll
I
add
don't
this
even
to
know
our
what this is
King
about. I'm not even going to read the back now.
No.
So
about riding the bullet. I'm guessing the bullet is a car, and Stephen King
cover
does
that
like
up.
his cars, doesn't he?
Has he got anybody? David Arquette.
David Arquette's in it.
Apparently so.
Wow, it's got its bad boy on.
Right, let's give it a whirl and we'll let you know thoughts afterwards.
Right, see you later.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the review. Sorry.
I've finished this.
Ugh.
I'm not sure. Peanut butter flavoured beer. I'm not sure.
It wasn't the nicest.
I'm going to switch it out.
What are we going for now?
Small Giant. It's quite big, quite big thing. Small Giant American Pale Ale from Lidl. This one is.
From Lidl.
Let's see how it goes.
So it's just a pale ale.
Beers are out, guys.
Beer
Second
apart
movie
from-
in.
Right, so we have just watched the Mike Garris movie of the adaptation of the Stephen King's novella Riding the Bullet.
Strange noise.
And yeah, Riding the Bullet.
Right.
So I thought it was a made for TV, but it actually did have a limited theatrical.
In 2002. How have
Oh.
I never heard of this movie?
2004.
2004.
2004.
Shit. I think on IMDb when I was looking, it was 2000. But yeah, so this came out after Screams, after all those movies. How did I miss this? Because I was really into horror films at the time. Maybe because it's a very strange film.
Would you say it's yes? That's
Psychological thriller.
Scary Haunting, the best Stephen King movie ever. Toby Hooper. Rest
Toby
in
Hooper.
peace,
Love that man.
but he was wrong.
He's wrong.
He's deaf wrong.
He's wrong. He is wrong.
It was interesting. So the story's about a young lad called Alan
Who could be any post-Scream era, late 90s, early 2000s douchebag. They all look like that, but
long hair, stubble.
stubble.
In
They all had
patches.
the girl had the slick hair. They all look like that era of the urban legend.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they,
yeah.
They
You
all
fully-
look like that.
yeah.
But the film's set in the 60s.
1969. We was watching it going, this is meant to be set in 1969. However, if you told me this movie was set in 1996, I wouldn't have questioned you.
Not at all.
Or even,
Not at all.
yeah,
2000.
late 90s,
Yeah.
even the early 2000s, the
Dark
wardrobe-
Castle era of films and all that sort of
You know,
stuff. The revision of them.
The cliche fat, funny best friend.
Yeah. Or
It didn't look out of place to be in the late 90s, early 2000s.
every movie cliche from that sort of we call it 2000s. We know what I mean. That late 90s, 2000s, that early 2000 era is in this. In terms of Pretty Girlfriend, a little bit of nudity, but we're not going to exploit it like we did in Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah.
We're just
There's
going to have it in the
boobs, but
background.
one-
There's going to be gore, and we're going to put some quite good gore effects in, but we're not going to be exploitative with gore. It's not like lots of blood. It's just like, oh, that's a bit grim in the corner. Soundtrack was good. We're going to choose
Yeah,
like some older songs and stuff. So all those things are in here.
I think the soundtrack was trying to remind you it's set in 1969 because everything else.
Youngbloods
really
at the
did.
end was very good. I can't get out of my head now.
So, Alan,
Played by
he's
some guy that we recognised.
Jonathan Jackson, I believe the actor's name
He
is.
was good for early 2000 douchebag.
Yeah.
He was like Skeet Ulrich light.
He was like a poor man's Skeet. So
I
Alan,
think that's unfair.
dear,
I think that's unfair. I think he was just a Skeet Ulrich light.
like Bud
I
Light.
think, yeah, I don't think he's. I don't think I would say, oh, Skeet
He
Ulrich
did a
is
good
this.
job.
For when you've got your Skeet Ulrich level of actor, you've then got your, what's his name, Jonathan Dimbleby.
Jonathan Jackson.
Jonathan Percy Jackson.
And then you've got Joshua Jackson.
Joshua Jackson in the middle. Oh no, he's better than Joshua Jackson. Joshua Jackson is one of the all-time worst actors.
So,
no, yeah, he was good. He was good, and he had to carry a lot on this because this film went everywhere.
yeah, it was a bit mental. So, the basic premise is Alan, he's celebrating his birthday, he's smoking weed, looks like he's going to commit suicide. The Grim Reaper comes, tells him to do it.
Yeah. Yes, the Grim Reaper shows up.
Yeah, in his bath. The murals
on the
Yeah,
wall.
yeah, the
He has
paintings-
the coolest bathroom ever.
naked women like sitting
Painted.
like full of blood, and his bathtub's painted. So basically, he gets put into hospital because he doesn't go
Just
to
what you were
sleep.
saying is when the Grim Reaper comes, the murals on the wall, the
Tell him to
paintings
do it.
start talking to him, and all of that, and he's obviously high. And I think if we want to get deep, that you could argue that there's a bit of this idea of taking drugs, paranoia. That whole weed was having a massive boom again. 60s weed to the early 2000s weed revolution. Paranoia causing. There's a lot going on there.
Weed revolution.
Back in the early 2000s, everyone was smoking weed again. It kind of went out of fashion, kind of came back. But yeah, it was kind of a bit spacey and trippy.
It was, yeah.
And I liked that at the beginning.
There's quite a lot of bit like out of body, himself talking to himself.
Yeah, that was good.
So it basically then gets set up that he gets given some concert tickets to go see John Lennon by his girlfriend. So he's going to go do it, but just
Awesome scene where he sees his girlfriend as an angel.
he's in
Lovely
hospital,
effect.
yeah, the wings
Lovely
then
effect.
come
The
out.
wings
Yeah.
come out.
So it's quite a lot of spaced out scenes to start with, but then he gets a call and his mother's had a stroke in his hospital. So then he hitchhikes to Main Hospital.
Of course, it's Maine, Castle Rock, Stephen King, you know.
Yeah, basically it's the story of him. Then it follows him hitchhiking to go see his mother.
Yeah.
And on the
How
journey
far
of the
was that
hitchhike,
journey? Because he said I'd be there in the evening, and he left at like 9 at night. And
that's right. He said I'll be there tonight. or
yeah,
something.
and he still seemed to make it, I think.
So it follows him around hitchhiking, where he hallucinates his father's funeral, hallucinates riding the bullet, which is actually a fairground ride at Fantasyland.
Because I would have sort of assumed it would have been the car from the front of this, but no.
Yeah,
It's
so
more of a metaphor
there's a
about.
car, looks quite like Christine, and I made the assumption that it would be. I'm reading the back that the bullet was the car, and it'll be about the journey, about maybe about how it goes peak time in his journey, and it does go peak time.
And do you know what? And that's the metaphor the film's trying to say. Our whole life is a roller coaster, and it might be a bit scary, and it's going to have its ups and downs, and you're going to think you're going to fall off at times. And that's what it is. Just ride the bullet. You need to be brave enough to ride the bullet. But that's not what we thought we were getting. We thought it was going to be like some serial killer in the car.
Yeah, we thought it'd be the way it's worded. Certainly on the back, is I expected. He got into this car, got in this hitchhiker's car, and maybe we had something a la Joyride when we talked about Candy
that's
Cane,
such a good
Rusty
movie.
Nail.
That holds up really well.
Yeah, that's sort of like he's being tormented, hunted by a raved hitchhiker. But it's nothing like that.
No.
He actually hitchhikes with a dead guy called
David Arquette.
David Arquette, someone's storm. So it's weird and how he hallucinates certain points in his life.
Do you know what this is? This is like a best of Stephen King book adaptation because it's got a bit of everything in it. It's got the Christine with the car. It's got ghost elements. It's got him talking to himself and telling himself to do things a bit like in Gerald's Game.
Yeah, Gerald's
It's
Game.
even got degloving. It's got the
Gerald's
ending
Game,
was
or-
very Stand By Me in the way it was the talking about what had happened in the past and
Yeah, he becomes-
there's so many different there's Cujo, there's a dog attack.
Oh yeah, the
We've got loads of all the classic Stephen King things going on in this, but like a lot of those greatest hits albums that you'll pick up, or from an Asda's bargain bin, or an Apple Music's essential playlist that someone's put together, it becomes a muddle. It doesn't quite have the continuity it's meant to have. It feels like there's a bit of everything in, and the things I loved in the first half an hour started to irritate me.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, stop talking to yourself. You're annoying me now. Stop having these ghosts. We know this is it. And I think we almost saw an ending coming that didn't actually... We predicted an ending that was better than the ending we got.
Yeah.
That it was setting itself up for an ending that never happened.
our prediction, mainly your prediction, was that actually when he slit his wrist, he actually died. And actually all of this is how his spirit is following his spirit body, if you wish. But yeah, it was...
It's really hard to explain without watching it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a head fuck in that sense, but...
I think I wouldn't recommend watching it. I would recommend watching it.
It started off well. I think it
Yeah.
certainly lost its steam very quickly.
90-minute movie.
Yeah, what was it? 90 odd minutes?
It didn't feel overly
95
long. It
minutes.
just felt a bit... It really reminded me of quite a few other films around this time. There's a film called Dead End that it had a similar sort of vibe to. It reminded me of... There's a lot... I'm really struggling to choose the film. But you know those films that come out and no one watches and... Everyone hates them, and then a few years later, people go, "Oh yeah, they're actually quite good because maybe they were a little bit ahead of their time, a little bit spacey." At the beginning, I was like, "This is going to be a hidden classic." I get why people didn't like it because it's a bit, talking to your ghost and
Yeah, a
things
bit
like
out
that.
there to start with.
But unfortunately, it just kind of missed the mark. Don't know.
Yeah, to me, unfortunately, it was quite a bit of a letdown.
Oh, I'm not going to say it was a letdown. I'm just going to say. I've seen better. I've seen better today.
We've already seen 2 movies.
We have. This is nice.
So yeah, I'd certainly recommend if you're a fan of King's work, go watch it out. It's definitely worth it. I say it's a letdown because what I thought it would be, and by reading the back before we watched it, I didn't get that. Doesn't mean it was bad, but yeah, I don't think I'll be watching it again anytime soon.
No. It felt like those movies that are on the horror channel at like 9 o'clock on a Sunday night when you put them on, you think, "Oh, what's this?" and you start watching it, and it feels a bit made for TV.
Yeah.
That said, there were some nice effects in it. There was some
Saying ebook.
based on ebook. There was some nice gore, nice brain gore effect at one point.
Yeah, scalping.
Quite nice degloving-y, gruesome hand with that on.
Yeah, so there was some
good
bits
angel
in it.
bits in.
And the cast were good. David Arquette was good in his role as
Yeah.
whatever he was.
Everybody in it you sort of recognise from something else, I think.
Yeah, it had like Uncle Ben from Spider-Man in there. It had
And the rice.
Insidious's grandmother, she was in it. So
Lorraine
quite a lot of
Smoot.
people in there you recognise. So you would argue it's a strong cast. But we will review this separately as part of King of Kings. Well, we'll rank it in a separate King of Kings.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
Because we need to put it on the board.
It's got King of Kings.
I'm looking over there because the board's over there. So we'll
It's
put it
still
on
there.
in
Been
a
there about a
separate
year.
tiny little video. We'll just do the ranking for it and put it on there.
No worries. Cool.
But right, so Riding the Bullet is done. We've got at least two movies
At
left.
least 2 more for the day, and the beers are flowing.
So we'll be back with part 3 shortly.
Cool.
Peace.
Peace.